It's Tuesday night. Big news, obviously. Mark Kotsay has been hired as the A's new manager. They announced he has a 3-year deal with the club option for 2025. Just your initial thoughts. I mean, I don't know if I'm too surprised by it. It seemed kind of like the most logical option, but what are your guys' first impressions of the hire?
George, you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go. My initial thing was man. Like you said, I think most of the fan base saw it coming. Most of the people in baseball saw that coming. We weren't gonna make no splashy signing, or we're not gonna be spending any money this year, or I don't know until when. But I knew they were gonna hire some white old dude. That's just the way it is. Not that I don't have anything against Mark Kotsay, I don't, but it's just super annoying and frustrating from a fan base that needs some sort of uplifting thing. I mean, I get it. Mark Kotsay is a player's coach and whatnot, but I would have gone with someone else. Obviously, being a great diversity like Oakland, I still can't believe we don't have a first Black or Latino manager in the history of the Oakland A's.
Yeah, it's been white. It's been a white dude every single time, right?
Yeah,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my thoughts on that.
Yeah, what about you, Anson? What did you think? What was your first thought?
Well, this whole time I wanted Ron Washington, and ironically, I don't like when the A's hire in-house, because ironically, Ron Washington should have been the in-house hire back when he should have been the A's manager. It's not like I dislike Mark Kotsay. I loved him as a fan. I loved how he played the game. It was just kind of like what George said. We need a spark in this fan base. We've been plagued with this whole distraction with Vegas the whole season, and even during the off season. We see players like Marcus Semien sign huge deals within the division now, and we're in this same roundabout of we can't attain new players, or we can't attain the same players while expanding in free agency. And here we are, it feels like it's the same old story, and it's kind of frustrating when in reality the flip side is all the players seem to love this. They love Mark Kotsay, and then I get it, but as a fan, I just want to see them go do something different, think outside the box, show something to this fan base that you're losing by the month, that like, hey, we're serious. We're going to build a winner, and we're not going to do the same thing that we've been doing in the past, which has not been working. But what do I know? I'm just a fan. I'm going to give him a fair shot. It's a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
As long as he has that good rapport with the players, that's all I can really ask for.
Yeah, because I like, for me, I just thought really initially, like once people found, like, they reported, like the main impetus for this was probably they were trying to shed Bob Melvin's like $4 million salary. It just made sense that like Kotsay and Christensen would probably be the top 2 guys. And then once Christensen went to San Diego, I was like, all right, it's probably going to be Kotsay. So that's what I was thinking. I mean, I know they were interviewing some other guys, like it was I think Will Venable from the Red Sox, like a top like bench coaches, Randy, I don't know, Matt Quattraro and
Marcus Jensen. Is it Marcus Jensen?
Joe Espada, and then Marcus Jensen and Darren Bush were another pair of in-house candidates. But I feel like this was kind of like Kotsay's job to lose once Christensen made the choice to dip.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wonder if Christensen already talked to Kotsay. He's like, yo, dude, are you trying, like, I don't know, are you like, should I go or what?
I'm actually glad it wasn't Ryan Christensen. I would have been kind of more, I think I would have been upset. Like, I'm not upset that's Mark Kotsay. I'm not like, I'm gonna be obviously rooting for him for his success. But like, if it was Ryan Christensen, I think I would have been upset. I would have been like, Jesus Christ. God.
Yeah, it would have been like, y'all ain't even trying anymore. It would have been like, why can't we just get Mark Kotsay? But
Well, and I know it's like pretty hard to understand like how good an assistant coach is unless you're part of their team. Even like Kotsay, like who knows like how good of like we get to see Melvin because he interacts with people, but for the most part, assistant coaches are kind of laying in the cut doing their thing. But were there any candidates that they did interview or they were linked with that might have that would have got you guys stoked? Like, is there anybody that could have hired? I think Ron Washington, maybe just for nostalgia's sake and everything, that would have been cool. But everybody's saying he probably would have commanded too much money. But I mean, is there anybody who would have kind of got you guys going and you guys would have enjoyed, like, really been stoked about?
I honestly don't even really think that. It's more about everything else is such a dark cloud. Even if they just went anyone else, if they wouldn't have gone in house, and I would be like, okay, maybe you're trying to do something. It just seems like they're doing the easy route, which doesn't give me any excitement or hope to what's going to happen in the next year or two. But I could be wrong as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think. My personal how I'm feeling right now is very mad with the whole Oakland A's organization, just because of all the flirtation, the moving to Vegas, your usual not really spending or caring about the team itself. So my focus has kind of been more like with the Roots, because the Roots went into the playoffs, and pretty excited about that. Even the news that came out today. So I'm like, the A's are kind of like, they really pissed me off. And so to me, I think I wouldn't want Ron Washington to come into this situation either anyway. So would I be, hell yeah, I would have been celebrating if it was Ron Washington. But been kind of messed up if it was, because he kind of just comes in and inherits this like build what do you call it, rebuild. So would have been fair for him? Probably not. So that's why I think I'm very I'm very neutral with what they did. So I think I'm more focused on the stadium situation as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. But yeah, me and Anson, before you got on, we were talking about the Roots too. He was saying like there's some other A's fans. Sounds like there's like a migration of A's fans. It's like to the Roots. It's like, and you mentioned the news. For people who don't know, the Roots announced a deal today. They're going to start practicing at the Raiders' old practice facility, right? Or that's going to be their new HQ, right? Basically, right? Is that right? Like, because there's office buildings and a practice facility there.
Right.
So.
I believe they're just renting or leasing half of the building. They're not. So there's not the whole HQ. I think they're going to keep the HQ at they're out there in East Oakland on I forgot what it's called. But they're right smack right on by Fruitvale. So they're just going to have that as their training facility, basically.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm excited, man. That's pretty tight. Like, that's going to get you some good players out there, because, that's what it's all about.
The training facilities and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Because right now, like the Roots, they're in, what is it? The USL? Is that the name of their league, right?
Yeah, the USL Championship. And immediately, they even have better training facilities than the Oakland A's. I'm serious.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I mean, it's what happens when you do something and you make stuff happen. That's how you create excitement. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, because the A's are like converted their old locker room into a weight room, basically. And
didn't they go to the Raiders' old locker room or something?
Yeah, so they moved up to the Raiders' locker room, which is really, really big and everything. And then they just put, I think, from what I understand, they put the weight room in their old clubhouse. But they used to like. Basically they converted just this room into their weight room. Like, it wasn't built into the 70s. Like, there wasn't like a weight room built. Like, they didn't lift weights, they just smoked cigarettes in the 70s, they did. And but it's hella funny, because you go to Raiders games and it's like that's where they hold the press conferences too for a visiting team. So it's like you're surrounded by the A's weights while you're like interviewing Peyton Manning and stuff. It's hilarious. But so they don't have like that facility is not built for modern day. I mean, it's crazy that they were holding two major league franchises there. But,
that is crazy.
Yeah. But one more thing I want to hit on before we go to the stadium stuff is he said Kotsay said he's gonna retain his whole coaching staff. So that means Darren Bush is gonna stay, Marcus Jensen, the bullpen coach, Eric Martin's the assistant hitting coach, Scott Emerson's the pitching coach. Somebody else. Oh, the first base coach, Michael Andretti. They need to get a third base coach, and Kotsay said they might expand their coaching staff. So, what do you think about that? I mean, basically it's just a whole continuity, trying to keep it going, kind of a thing, right? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, the hitting. Let's be real with the A's. It wasn't so very well. So I think overall the coaching staff is good. I think I don't want to place too much blame on Darren Bush, because you also still have to be able to hit the ball, yourself as a player. But I think that's a spot where I would have seen some, like, let's switch it up or shake it up and make it a little bit better, would be the hitting coach for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like they might still do that. I mean, it sounds like Kotsay was open to, the Giants have like 16 coaches, I counted. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Right now, the A's have 6. So,
but unfortunately, what it comes down to is you got to pay. And
yep,